to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms, and that you're even just, you've taken back the power of storytelling from the enemy. So whatever story you're reading, whatever news that you're absorbing, that you're consuming, which has the same power as the physical food you take, that you're putting it into your own narrative and going deep into not what they want to tell you, but what you really need to know. Because you see, the narrative is what is creating this whole thing, beloveds. And the mainstream media is like a massive propaganda machine, and they won't tell you everything. Now, there's some breaking news, coming out of Australia. Super big shout out to the subscriber that shared this story with me, where the world's oldest rainforest is being given back to the indigenous people, the melanated people, the Aborigines. And we're talking about, they were talking about something like 395,000 acres, beloveds, that had been seized by the colonizers of that land for so long. But I don't know. Let me just take a step back and say, have you been noticing what's been happening in Australia? I did touch on it earlier this year. It's like the plagues hit Australia. First they had weather issues, and then they had a mice plague, which was crazy. I mean, there was even a report of how a mouse literally ate out a woman's eye in her sleep. How does that even happen? Ugh. And so it was like the plagues were really hitting them. And then now, all of a sudden, the Australian state of Queensland announced that it will be passed. It had actually already passed ownership of they call it the Daintree rainforest, back to its indigenous caretakers, the Eastern Kuku Yalanji people. Beloveds, you think they did this because they wanted to? You think they handed over 395,000 acres because they wanted to? Absolutely not. It's because it is time. And there is so much that's going on behind the scenes. There's so much that the spiritual war is real, and it is manifesting physically, beloveds. And you need to also pay attention to Australia. Like, Australia has come down so hard with the New World Order agenda. We're seeing, mothers getting arrested in front of their children for not having a mask. We're seeing huge demonstrations, actually. There was a massive demonstration in Melbourne, but they have come down so hard. There's even FEMA camps in Australia. And FEMA camps, literally, they look like concentration camps, beloveds. But those are stories for other days. So you think this just happened? And they won't tell you that. They'll say, like, the way they'll put it is like, Australia hands over the world's oldest land, rainforest to the indigenous people, the rightful owners that they stole it from in the beginning and have been unable to manage for this time. They said the Eastern Kuku-Yalangi's people's culture is one of the oldest living cultures, and the agreement recognizes their right to own and manage their country, to protect their culture, and to share it with visitors as they become leaders in the tourism industry. That's what the statement read from the Queensland Environmental Minister, whatever. And they said there will be a joint period of management before the full handover happens. You see how they can't just give it to you fully. They still want to baby you because they still think you need instructions on how to live somewhere. Because they say this particular rainforest is almost like 1.5 million years old. And the Aborigines have been living within the rainforest as the caretakers of that rainforest for that long. But when the invasion in Australia happened, they were sidelined. And so trust me, beloveds, the timing should tell you everything. They're not doing this because they want to. They're not doing this because they feel all of a sudden moved. They're doing this because of what is happening on the spiritual realm. Like, it's over, beloveds. Babylon is falling, but Babylon will never tell you it's falling. Babylon will always try and make it seem like they're in control of everything. And that's why I say it's so important for us to really digest the narratives for ourselves, put the narratives through our own discernment filter so that we can understand, understand, and overstand what we really need to know from what's going on. So they say that they say the deal involved 4 years. It took 4 years of negotiations. So probably if we read the fine print, the Mzungu can never just walk away. Never. They always just try and, they're narcissists. You guys need to look into the narcissistic, culture and really understand that, to understand the kind of enemy of our soul that we're dealing with. So they say that this is the first of 4 handovers. And despite being listed and it's actually listed as a World Heritage Site, although the move is the first of its kind for Queensland, Daintree is just the first of 4 national parks set to be handed to Indigenous hands in an agreement with the state government signed on Wednesday. And you know what? This is what we need to see happening across the world, even in Africa, East Africa, Kenya, to be specific. We have massive issues with land here, beloveds, because the colonizers came and they didn't give the land back. So we have Mzungus who own like 100,000 acres, 150,000 acres. The Queen of England owns something like over 100,000 acres. And there are all these conservancies. But what we're not told, and sorry to get into the whole Kenya situation, is that these were the roaming lands of the Maasai and the Samburu and the Pokot. And, but they came and they said the land was just empty, so they took it over. And they still tell us they're managing it. They have these conservancies so they can help us manage our animals. But I'm telling you, this is setting such a massive precedent. I can't believe it. For me, though, I'm taking it as a serious sign that, Australia, the battle has gotten so intense, the fire got so intense in Australia that this had to happen. 4-year negotiations, but it ended this year, right now. No coincidences, beloveds. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Until next time, tuko pamoja. Hello and welcome, family. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm not sure if you're seeing this on the Dr. Mumbi show or the Dr. Mumbi spiritual show, but we just wanted to give you a special heads up. We've been getting, over the last 6 months, we've gotten so many emails from people asking about what they need to do about relocating to Africa. Before it was like people needed general information, but now people are making some serious moves. So we've started a new community. We're going to actually be starting a new channel. You can find the links below. Go ahead and definitely subscribe and hit that notification button so that you find out when we launch our first video. But in case you want to see already, the pre-production stage, find us on Patreon, Karibu Nyumbani. And Karibu Nyumbani basically means welcome home. You can also find the link below. And it's everything you need to know about repatriating to Africa. And the reason we've decided to create the online platform is because people are in need of lawyers, of bankers, of realtors, etc., and advice from these people on how to relocate back to the continent. As someone who relocated 10 years ago, there's a lot of experience that I have under my belt about what the relocation process looks like. So definitely, beloveds, consider subscribing to the new channel, links down below, and join us, more importantly, on Patreon, where you can even ask questions. And by the way, if you're a creator, in terms of, if you're a what they call professional, if you're some kind of, if you're a realtor, if you're a lawyer in your country and you'd like to be a country representative to help people relocate, or if you have a consultancy agency, definitely reach out. Dr. Mumbi at drmumbishow.com. You can also join our Patreon family, where we do have a special section for, local country representatives, where we can be sharing all the information, real estate projects, etc., that you have coming up with our wider family. So happy to be starting this journey with you. We wish all of you the greatest success in returning back home. Karibu, Nyumbani.